Attorneys, nobody tells you that the thing you spent a decade building could quietly become the thing that traps you. They tell you about the income, the prestige, the security. They don't tell you about the nights where everyone else in the house is asleep and you're still sitting in front of your laptop at 9:43 p.m. finishing work you barely have the energy to care about anymore. Not because you're lazy, not because you hate being an attorney, but because somewhere deep down, you realize something most attorneys never admit out loud. The business I built only works if I keep sacrificing my life to keep it alive, and once you see that, you can't unsee it. Because the truth is, most attorneys do not own a scalable business. They own high-income jobs with overhead. Your income is still tied to your time, your energy, your availability, your calendar, and eventually that creates a ceiling. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, physically. You can only bill so many hours, take so many consultations, handle so many fires, and the second you slow down, the revenue slows down too. That's not a personal failure, that's the business model. And the business model was never designed to give you freedom. It was designed to keep you dependent on it. Law school taught you how to practice law. It taught you nothing about how to build a business that works without you. Nobody did. And that's not an accident. That's just how the industry was built. And the attorneys who figured out another way aren't special. They're not more talented than you. They didn't work harder than you. They just found a different model before you did. Here's where it gets interesting. The attorneys who actually escape this trap usually do not leave law. They simply stop relying on billable hours or trading time for money as their only source of income. That's the shift. And right now, there's a massive opportunity almost nobody in the legal industry is paying attention to. Because every single day, attorneys everywhere are struggling with getting clients consistently, converting consultations, marketing their firms, standing out in competitive markets, building systems, scaling operations. And when they find an attorney who's already solved these problems, they will pay to learn from them. Not because they want motivation, because they want certainty. Think about it. Other attorneys already ask you, how are you getting clients? How are you converting consultations? How are you positioning your firm? How are you getting cases consistently? How are you scaling? The problem is most attorneys answer those questions for free. What they don't realize is the knowledge they've spent the last 10 years acquiring is extremely valuable to attorneys still trying to figure it out. And unlike practicing law, teaching attorneys how to grow their firms carries zero malpractice exposure. You're not giving legal advice, you're teaching business strategy. That changes everything. No hourly ceiling, no geographic limitations, no courtroom dependency, no trading time for money forever. And before you think, I'd need to become an influencer, I'd need a huge audience, I'd have to spend years building a course. No, that's not what this is. This is an attorney advisory model, meaning your authority already exists, your credibility already exists, your expertise already exists. You simply need the infrastructure to monetize it correctly. That's why we built the Authority on Demand system, a complete done-for-you system that helps attorneys launch and position a premium advisory business under their own brand. That includes attorney-specific positioning, client acquisition systems, high-ticket offer structures, sales frameworks, onboarding systems, delivery infrastructure, marketing funnels, everything already built. Because the reality is, most attorneys never fail because the opportunity is bad. They fail because they try building everything from scratch while simultaneously running a law firm, and eventually they abandon it. Now let me address the biggest question you're probably asking. Is there actually demand for this? Massive demand. According to Clio's legal trend report, the average attorney spends less than 3 hours a day on actual billable work. The rest, admin, marketing, chasing leads, and trying to figure out how to run a business nobody trained them to run. And most of them are struggling with the business side of law, not the legal side. It goes deeper than that too. The ABA has found that roughly 1 in 3 attorneys said they wouldn't choose law again if given the chance. That's not people who hate their craft, that's people who are exhausted by the business model surrounding it. They don't need more CLE credits, they need clients, systems, positioning, conversion, predictability. And here's what makes this opportunity real. There are over 1.3 million licensed attorneys in the United States alone. Every single one of them is a potential buyer, regardless of whether they run a firm, work solo, or are just starting to think about going out on their own. These are attorneys who are already practicing, already billing, already searching for answers. And attorneys trust other attorneys far more than generic business coaches online, because attorneys understand the pressure, the ethics, the psychology, the operational reality of running a business. That credibility isn't something you build overnight, you already have it, and that matters. Now imagine this for a second. 7 months from now, you wake up on a Tuesday morning and check your phone. There are 2 attorneys on your calendar who booked overnight. You didn't chase them, you didn't pitch them, you didn't even know they existed until they raised their hand. One is a family law attorney in Arizona who watched your video at 11 10 p.m. while his kids were asleep. The other is a litigation partner in Chicago who filled out your application during her lunch break. Both of them already watched your video. Both of them already told you exactly who they are and what they need. Both of them are already sold on your expertise before you ever pick up the phone. And you still have your practice, you still have everything you built, you just also have this. A second revenue stream that doesn't stop when you stop. Income that doesn't depend on you billing another hour. Real leverage, real optionality, real breathing room. And maybe for the first time in your career, you actually feel like you own something, not just a job disguised as a business, an actual asset. That's the opportunity here. So here's what happens next. Below this video, there's a button. Click on it and fill out a short application. On that call, we're going to do 3 things. First, we'll map out your current positioning and identify exactly where your expertise sits in the market. Second, we'll show you what your coaching advisory offer could look like based on your specific practice area and background. Third, we'll tell you honestly whether this model makes sense for your situation, and if it doesn't, we'll tell you that too. No pressure, no pitch, just clarity. But understand this, your next 12 months are going to happen either way. The only question is whether you spend them building deeper into a model that keeps demanding more of your life, or finally building leverage around the expertise you already have. The attorneys who win the next decade won't be the ones who worked the most hours. They'll be the ones who were smart enough to stop trading time for income before it was too late.